Hello everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today at my last day here at the Woodstock Fruit Festival. One more day of eating fruit, connecting with beautiful people, and then it'll be back, back to Albany tomorrow and then back to Alabama on Monday. It's been a great week, been a very powerful week. Looking forward to kind of cap it off. We're going to have another kirtan this afternoon. At 1 o'clock, so that's something I'm very excited about, and just one last day of connecting with some really good friends and maybe meeting some new friends. Today my talk, I didn't really have a good title. It's kind of wonky, but and it could change from what I'm saying, but right now it's the best expression of love and compassion. I do videos every day, so I would be very honored if you would go down there and hit that subscribe button, and be sure you click on the little bell immediately and then check send notifications, or you may not stay subscribed to the channel. I came across two different pieces. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to talk about this week, and 2 days ago I was talking with a good friend and she told me a passage. We were just talking and I was like, wow, I really like that. And then yesterday I was doing some reading and I came across something else by the same person, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of synchronicity. I have to, this is what I want to talk about this week because it really resonated with me. Ever since I've had kind of my, what you want to call it, awakening from that darkness that I used to live in, whether it's been food, stopping the alcohol, just having a different way of thinking and looking at things. It's kind of happened, there was the big one, and then, through the years there's been shifts, going a little deeper with different, areas, not just the food. We're not even talking about food here. Like I always say, I should just phrase that. The food is just a catalyst. Always remember that. The food's never going to do anything but open the path to other things. And anyhow, I'm going to read this, and listen before I read it. I always like to tell people, like I see other people say when I listen to similar messages, don't get caught up in the specific person or religion or anything else, just the words, the thought. Because there's, it's like a lot of things. It doesn't matter who says certain things. Truths are truths. Now, I found this little meme yesterday, and it kind of states up because, I've been kind of working well, let me read it first, and then I'll tell you. I would like my life to be a statement of love and compassion, and where it isn't, that's where my work lies. And that's by old Ram Dass. And where it isn't, that's where my work lies. I'm not an uncompassionate person. I'm not a loving person, but I'm a little bit more of an analytical, I can be kind of cold sometimes. And I've been working on it for a while, and especially here, coming here, even like last year, I remember that. It's good for me because I've been working on that heart chakra lately, opening that heart chakra and expressing more things like that. And that's where I want to focus. I'm not talking about I'm going in a different direction necessarily with a channel or whatever, but I'm just kind of talking about my inner work and my attitudes and how I express myself and how I act and relate with others. And then this is what my friend shared with me, and I thought this was pretty profound too because it was so simple. If you don't know the story, Ram Dass was this college professor, dropped out but not dropped out. He was a tenured college professor, went to study. He studied with this Maharaji in India. And this is a conversation or something that he asked the Maharaji. I'm a little bit hoarse from that kirtan the other day. I better not yell too much today. Now, when I was with Maharaji in early '68, I asked him, Maharaji, how can I know God? And he said, feed people. That was such a weird answer that I assumed the translator screwed up. So figured I'd rephrase it. Maharaji, how can I get enlightened? And he said, serve people. And that's something I think somewhere else in there, he had asked the Maharaji, it wasn't in this particular passage, but he had asked him something else about the whole big picture, and Maharaji just said, love people. And right there I said, you could just build your whole philosophy. It doesn't matter anything else you think about. Those three things you can't really argue with. There's a lot of people in this world. They suffer from poverty. You know, and there's a lot, let's put it like this, there's a lot of haves that have a lot, and there's a lot of have-nots that don't have any. So feed people, feed people. I mean, that's just about as simple as it gets. I mean, can you disagree with that? And then he said, how can I get enlightened? Serve people. So feed people, serve people, love people. You could basically, I think you could just base a whole philosophy, a whole way of thinking on that. If you just, I mean, if we all followed those three things, think how much better this world would be, you know. A lot of time, I think the problem with, and the thing is too, there's not so many, it's not that there's a lot of bad people or greedy people or this or that out there, but we can all be just a little caught up in our own thing. And yeah, we can be caught up in our own thing, and it's not necessarily like we don't sympathize with the people or other people or others outside ourselves, but it's, I don't know, I feel sympathy, but I think I need to learn to express a little bit more empathy. But it's simple, you know, all the religions, all the philosophies, they have all these complications, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with any of it, or any of the thought processes are wrong. I'm just saying, in the end, as human beings, we complicate things. We complicate things. We're like, we have these long list of rules, and we have this code of conduct, and we have this way that we're supposed to act, and it all gets so formal, and it all gets so pious, when if we just practiced the simple things like that. So that is something that I'm about to drop into working on. That's something that you know, that my mindfulness practice of meditation does not, you know, my mindfulness is just getting quiet. But another passage I was reading, I think it was Eckhart Tolle, I'm still working on that book. Probably will finish that on the plane. I'm almost sure I'll finish that on the plane. But, you know, I'm reading things like that, and where mindfulness is not thinking about certain things. So I don't want to get it like I'm thinking about these things when I'm meditating, because mindfulness is just trying to get to the silence. But, and I was reading some passages on this yesterday as well. In the silence is where we find it. In the silence is where all those answers are. And that's a hard place to get to. I just finished, it's early morning here. I just finished meditating just a few minutes ago. And it's tough. It's tough. You know, I've been meditating over 1.5 years now, which is nothing in the big picture. You know, there's people that have meditated for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. You know, hopefully I'll live that long. So, you know, who knows, when old Jack's 80-something years old, I'll be able to say, oh yes, I've been meditating daily for 30 years. But in the silence, in fact, there's somebody says that, it could have been Eckhart Tolle, it's in the silence that you find God. It's in the silence that you know what to do. And it's not, it's instinctive within all of us. It's all in there. It's all inside us. It's just things that we have to access. It's areas of us that we have to access. So I don't know. Like I say, I've been reading a lot while I'm here. Not a lot like voluminous, but I come in here every afternoon. I'm a different frame of mind. These type things are good for me in a lot of different ways. You know, it's not just, ooh, I'm eating amazing fruit, and yeah, I've been sharing a lot of stuff on fruit, and yes, I'm meeting amazing people and reconnecting, and I've reconnected, you know, with a few people that I really consider special friends. But it's also just being in an environment, being away from, you know, the day-to-day and whatever, that I have time to contemplate, that I have time to really not even so much think, but feel these issues. You know, everything else has gone away. There's not that daily distraction around. When you put yourself, I'm going to finish with this. It doesn't matter. I'm not saying you have to come to a fruit festival. You don't have to go do a retreat. You don't have to withdraw. But wherever it is for you that you can find that's away from your day-to-day, away from your daily thinking and your daily mentality, and especially putting yourself, though, anytime you can put yourself in a strong environment of good energy, good vibrations, good people, which this place is. Like I say, I want to double down on that. If you have never been anywhere like with a group of people, a big group of people, where everybody had a very similar energy, or okay, I'll take the energy stuff out of it. That'll be a little too out there for some people. But just where everybody you like, everybody is is kind of on the same wavelength. They're thinking the same way. I mean, here everybody's polite. Everybody, if somebody's walking through after you, open a door. Somebody didn't get some fruit at the thing today, you say, well, here, have this. So it's a very different vibe than it is out in that day-to-day. It's almost like, here I'm able to let everything, let all the guards down and be just totally open. And that's a state that we should live in all the time, but that's going to be a focus for me. And I want some of the things that I'm doing work-wise, business-wise, to reflect those things. And as I build a couple of these businesses that I'm working on, I want to focus on some things like that. I don't want to, I got to take care of myself. I got to pay bills. I don't want to end up on the street, but I don't need things. I'm not like looking to acquire a bunch of stuff and pile up a bunch of money in the bank. I want to do things. I want to feed people. I have a desire to help feed people, because that's a rough thing when you're hungry. But just show love. Just show love. If you remember 3 things about this, just remember: feed people, serve people, love people, do the best you can. Anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed this message today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Peace.